Hey, sister, welcome to the Your Sorority Journey podcast. We are diving into the Step Up series today with our very first episode, Know Your Why. Much like Recruitment Takeover, we have decided to spend a couple weeks specifically focused on a major season of the sorority experience. Preparing for recruitment is one of those, right? We want to make sure that all stakeholders involved feel equipped and excited and prepared for what's in store in recruitment season. Similar to where we are now, as we approach elections and officer transitions, there are a lot of moving pieces regarding leadership. If you are an aspiring leader who's maybe already submitted a letter of intent or considering running for a position, this is going to help guide you through the next few weeks, how to navigate elections, how to prepare or process for the result of elections, and how to transition effectively. If you are an outgoing officer, this is just as much for you. We want to help equip you to transition well from your term, this really crazy year that you've experienced, into the next officer, how to provide a seamless transition to allow your newly elected officer to build on the foundation that you have started. So today we are talking about knowing your why, which I actually view as the foundation for leadership and elections itself. If you're listening to this episode, I'm sure that you are an aspiring leader, really excited for what is potentially to come in the elections process. Maybe you have had it in your mind that you are going to be a leader for a long time now. If you listened to episode 70, you know a little bit more about my leadership story. I knew that I wanted to be chapter president from the moment I was sitting around this pool at bid day and heard one of the seniors say, I know that we just recruited our next chapter president or a future chapter president. And I was like, yep, that's going to be me. I know that I want this leadership. I know I want that responsibility. But what I wish I'd done and what I want to encourage you all today to do is to dig into where that desire for that exact position or title came from. So I want you to think about, if you are ambitious, really focused on being vice president of recruitment, if you are really excited about being vice president of philanthropic service, let's dig a little deeper into that. Why do you want to be that specific position? Where did that come from? And I think it really boils down to one of three reasons. One, the position responsibilities might be really attractive to you. Let's take recruitment, for example. Maybe you love the idea of being the first face that potential members see and really orchestrating the environment in which they come to experience your chapter. Maybe that's really exciting for you. Maybe delegating to other committees or working with different parts of the chapter, like philanthropy for Philanthropy Day, with the sisterhood chair for Sisterhood Day, maybe with the ritual chair for preference, right? You have a lot of moving pieces. Maybe the position responsibilities of your ideal officer title are really exciting to you. Maybe you are just in general passionate about what that position accomplishes, less managerial, less focused on responsibilities, and more focused on impact. Maybe you're really excited about being, let's say, vice president of finance, because you really care about where the money gets spent reflecting the priorities of the chapter. Or philanthropic service. Maybe you have a personal connection to what your chapter raises money for, or you really enjoy the opportunity to collaborate with other organizations to raise awareness around different causes. Maybe it's the passion for you that draws you to that position. And maybe it's who you've seen be in that position before. Maybe you really look up to the chapter president, the Panhellenic delegate, whoever that is. Maybe that woman, that member, is someone that you aspire to be like. Maybe you love the way that she is respected in the chapter and you aspire to have that kind of status or that title or that influence in the chapter. Now, I don't think any of these are wrong reasons. Hear me out. I don't think any of these are wrong reasons to want the specific officer position that you do. But I think it's really critical that we dive into what your reason is so we can allow that to be the guiding focus of elections, not the title. So hear me out. If you love the position responsibilities of being vice president of recruitment, if you have a passion for what finance does, if you love the influence that the chapter president that you've seen has, boil that down for me. Why do you want to run for that position specifically? Removing the title from your why statement, I want you to hold on to that. Maybe your why is, I want to make an impact on newer members of the chapter. Maybe I want to grow our reach philanthropically, or maybe even our connectedness as a chapter around something greater than ourselves. I want what we do to align with what we say we're going to do. Or maybe you want to have influence. Maybe you want to belong. Maybe you want to be appreciated. My challenge to you is going to be that your why statement can fit in more position responsibilities than the one or two that you have isolated as the positions you want to run for. I think one of the most dangerous mindsets that we can have going into sorority elections, be it for your chapter or your council, is only being willing to accept one position. My hope is that your vision for the chapter is greater than what that title or that position responsibilities exclusively accomplishes. Because when you're on executive council, you do not just have that position's best interest in mind, you have the chapter's best interest in mind. You don't have your best interest in mind anymore. You're not out for yourself, right? You are looking at how this will impact different members of your organization, different members of the community, how it will reflect on the national organization at large. So if you don't have a guiding principle, a greater focus taking you into this leadership, then you may not be best fit for an executive council or a leadership position. Now, I don't think that's true. I don't think the sisters that are listening to this episode are not best fit, but I do think it requires a perspective shift before we put ourselves out there. Because I think the other thing that can happen is when we aren't elected to that one position, we can take it really personally when we think it's all about us. And as we'll talk about in further episodes, we will reveal that sorority elections actually have nothing to do with you. Yes, they pull from your skill sets, your experiences, the things that you're best suited for. But at the end of the day, our goal through sorority elections is to bring together the best team, not the best individuals for individual positions, but the best collaborative, efficiently working team to accomplish the greater vision we have for the chapter. And so I want you to think about, with your why, with your guiding principle, what are some other positions in which you could accomplish that? I want you to really dig into, if your position or responsibilities, if you are responsibilities or tasks driven, you know your skill set aligns with these kinds of job responsibilities, look into what other kinds of positions do those things. Maybe if you were really interested in being vice president of recruitment because you'll get to manage and collaborate with different teams, you could explore Panhellenic Delegate. Panhellenic Delegate is a liaison between the chapter and the Panhellenic community and partners with the different Panhellenic chapters. That is a very aligned position. If you are really excited about being a part of something greater than yourself, like philanthropic service or philanthropy, whatever that kind of position is on your chapter's leadership team, maybe you would also be really interested in sisterhood share, being able to help sisters see that their impact goes greater than themselves individually. Now, those are just a couple examples, but I want you to think about how the roles that maybe we prioritize a little bit more for being higher on the totem pole, for being up on executive council, may just be better suited for someone else. And the positions that are maybe not on exec or seem to be smaller positions also hold a lot of value, a lot of leadership development, and just as much purpose in the chapter as your chapter president. I want you to remember that pure intentions, passionate intentions will carry you so much further in your future term than a title or a status ever will. When things get hard, you need your guiding why to rely back on, because accepting a position or running for a position purely based on status or title will not get you there. Do I think it's important to belong in the chapter, to see yourself as important, to feel appreciated? Yes. I think that is so important. And that is a totally okay reason to run for a leadership position, to put yourself out there for an executive board role. But I don't think that being important, feeling that you belong, and being appreciated are exclusive to only a few positions on the executive council. Have an open mind, be open to where the chapter sees you best fit, and hold on to your why to carry you through not only officer elections, but your future term. Stick with us. We have a whole series of episodes coming over the next few weeks. This is just the beginning. Thank you so much for joining us on the Your Sorority Journey podcast.